Hello, my name is Michael Pollak, and these are some of my reflections on the Tefillah of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Rav Soloveitchik was very fascinated by how minhagim come about, and in particular, things that perhaps we hadn't invested with too much significance are the meat and drink of what fascinated him about the Seder HaTefillah. On Yom Kippur, one of the slight eccentricities is the gusto with which we sing some of the tefillot, which really have quite a grim undertone. So Soloveitchik particularly emphasized how comes in the middle of the Vidui, of the Al-Chetz, suddenly we burst out into a joyful song of V'al Kulam. I will save those of you with sensitive ears my rendition, but there is a joyful tune which runs through V'al Kulam. And even more amazing, as we reach the final section of the Vidui, V'al Chataim, where we enumerate the various grisly punishments that are available to sinners, whether they be death or being cut off, karet. And the tune for that is unbelievably celebratory. And Soloveitchik was puzzled, and in one of his Shabbos Shuvah droshes came up with a very interesting idea. To understand that idea, we need to reflect on a particular word that appears over and over again throughout the Machzah. If we look at the Piyutim, for example, we have V'chol Ma'aminim. Each verse starts off with a very tiny word kol, everyone or everything. If we have a look at Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, 24 of the 36 lines begin with the word V'chol. One of the greatest V'chols is in the middle of Natanei Tokef, when having established the fearsomeness of the day, the angels trembling with fear, we're told, V'chol ba'ei olam, everyone, every human being, anyone who has been on this earth, passes before Hashem to give our reckoning as individual lambs pass before their shepherd. V'chol, the key word is everyone, that we're approaching Yom Kippur and understanding its true meaning. We relate to the world through the word kol. We are individuals, but we flourish within families. We discover our identity within communities, and we fulfill our destiny within humanity. Yom Kippur investigates those relationships and celebrates those relationships. We are nobody without our families. We have no place without our communities, and our greatest achievements are as part of humanity itself. It's surely no coincidence that the very first word of all the tefillot, of the entire cycle of the services of Yom Kippur, is kol. Kol nidre. The very first word emphasizes that as individuals, we don't really have a place in this process of tshuva, of achieving spiritual greatness. But kol, if we approach Yom Kippur as part of another whole, as part of our families, as part of our communities, and probably most significantly, as a human being with a place in the world, that's where we're going to achieve the greatest advances on Yom Kippur. So Rav Soloveitchik is reflecting on this vidui that we have when we all come together to confess as a community. The vidui that we say silently in the Amida ourselves, bowed over, beating our hearts, crying, begging for forgiveness, is how we approach things as individuals. But if we can relate to the process when together we sing as a community, the vidui becomes not something of a tragedy, not something where we're broken people. The vidui becomes a confirmation of who we are relative to the kol, relative to the broader society. And of course the verse starts, V'al kulam, and relative to the whole we are going to celebrate who we are. It may not have been such a fantastic year, but Soloveitchik says if we manage to bind ourselves to the greater whole, then we have cause for celebration, and the jaunty songs that we are familiar with have an appropriate place. But I wish you and all your family and your social circle and your community, and indeed the whole world, a Gmar Chatima Tova.